Okay, I think I got it. I'm not sure because there's a way to do it where it's only your subscribers. Maybe I have to pay for it. Maybe I need to buy a package. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Overview. Okay, y'all, I'll figure it out. I put like a basic filter on the chats. But I have to figure it out because I don't know. Like I'm not memberships maybe, but I don't want it to be where you could only comment if you have a membership. I want it to be just, I don't know, y'all, but we're gonna just focus on. Yeah, I'm in the YouTube studio. So there's something where it's saying like whole comments, like basic comments, or like have like strict guidelines, but it's not saying like subscribers only. Thank you, Christine. Yes. No, no, no. We're doing a live. I was doing a live before, but y'all, my laptop, it's been dead for like a couple of days, so it's taking a while to charge. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. Thank you. You know this, it's so funny because I had to do something with Lonnie today at her school, so I didn't want to go in there with pink hair because I already stand out like a sore thumb anyway. So I was like, let me just like look a little normal. But it's very crazy what's happening, and the fact that Gypsy is not really saying much, but I want y'all to take note on the fact that Christy Blanchard hasn't said much recently at all. Why do you think that is? It's under participant mode. Where is participant mode? Like, where in the studio is that? Because I don't know anything about this studio. In the settings, channel, advanced. Or maybe I could type it in participant. Live control room. Yo, where y'all are telling me stuff that I know nothing about. I really need to learn more. Live control room. Y'all are teaching me something that I don't know. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna figure this out later because I don't want to live control room. I think Christy been known. She's known the truth already. She knows it's coming close to the time that Gypsy's getting off of parole. And I am telling you, thank you, Sonia. Gypsy is going to nut up. Yes, I do have my mods in here, thankfully, but I don't want to make them do too much work. So I was trying to like, you know, have them do as least as possible. But I think she knows for a fact that she's going to nut up. And so she's starting to become kind of quiet. Yes. Yes. I think that's why I think kind of whatever happens now is going to be very interesting in terms of like the way Melissa Moore portrays her. And this season that's coming up, what I think is going to be very, very, very interesting is to see the shift. Because remember last season, everybody thought that um, because she kept saying it was going to portray her in a good way, and we were going to see that Ryan was like a bad person. And that didn't happen. I think it's going to be something similar. Okay. I think no, Ken and Gypsy never actually lost contact at all. At all, at no point. Now, I did find this out and I think I did a video about it. Um, how do I feel about Ivy Rose Goes Wild? And her obsession with Chris. You know what? I just think that some things it will all come out in the light. I think that some people are focused on the wrong thing. We really want justice and like focusing on her addiction or if she has one, which people already know allegedly she does. Um, I think that that is something that will come out in a wash. I do think Christy wants custody, but that's one of those things that will come out in a wash. That curling iron was a hot mess because that curling iron wasn't even curling. Like, that's the part that's funny is that curling iron was not even curling. But I don't know. I think we'll just have to kind of see what happens. I just feel like it's kind of weird that they would be okay with her having her kid, considering she's on parole for unaliving her mom currently, still. Hey, Tiffany. No, Ken definitely did look good on paper. I mean, Ryan definitely looked good on paper. Still does when you look at it. I just don't. I don't even know why her and Ken. The whole dynamic is weird because he does not like women. Like I think that well maybe he does, but I think he is bi with a male preference. Is my opinion. That's my opinion, and I think that's why I think the whole relationship is just weird. You know, like it's just weird because again, if you go back to, I'm sorry, I think it's tangled back here. Uh, Again, if you go back to looking at the preview for this next season, I don't care how you want to describe it. Any man sitting Indian style on your bed like it's a slumber party is not. I don't know any man. I don't any straight man that would do that. Alice down the rabbit hole. That's the part that's so funny is that Steve Wood does own a happy bar in Texas. Like it's Yo, the way he was sitting crisscross applesauce on the bed, I was just like, if this don't say enough to you. No, that's not something that is normal to see a man do. And then also when you look at like their interactions, like the way he like holds her or like like speaks with her, it seems very distant. Like that's not his thing. I honestly think part of me feels as though Christy kind of paid him to come back around to get rid of Ryan because she knew that she couldn't control the money with Ryan around. Like, I think that's the only. First of all, remember that first episode that he was on and he was going like this? And he was like, yeah, and like, that's not it. Do y'all remember that? It was the hand movements for me on that first episode that he just showed up on. I was like, anyone that's trying to argue about that is just, the hand movements give it away. Yeah, and I don't know if you all on here know this, but on Morbid said one day, what was his exact words? Let me get it right so I quote you guys the right thing. He said that he spoke to Ken, and Ken told him that he did know Cowboy Bear, and Christy said to make this go away. So there's definitely, Christy, it seems like she kind of wears the pants and she doesn't want that story out there. And that's the whole reason why he's even denying it, I guess. But I don't know. No, I don't think Cowboy Bear is someone that he met on Grinder. Hey, Kathy, long time no see. Thank you, I appreciate it. You know what? Christy is 10 times worse than Dee Dee ever was. Ever. And I know that I believe Dee Dee needs justice. I think the way she was unalived was absolutely horrible, and it should have never happened. And Gypsy orchestrated the whole thing, and that alone should just be enough of a reason to say everything was so calculated, even to the fact that she knew the temperature to leave the house in with the body there. Yes, Ken was giving very, very, very feminine traits. And you know what I do want to see? And I know that Becca Scoops showed some, but I know she doesn't have all of them. Or at least I don't think she does. I don't know what she has. Is those Facebook messages that nobody saw. Raina's saying she always wanted a gay son, I think was for a cue to him that if he is, he could come out and say it. And it's okay. Did you see that Raina's roommate has been made videos about me, calling me a fat bitch and all types of stuff? And then I haven't done any clapbacks because he's not really relevant, but I just thought it was interesting that, they act like they're, yes. Very demonic. Very demonic. And then wasn't she on a live talking about it the other day and tried to say, You see these trolls. Yes, and Raina's daughter is in Missouri and was getting her butt smacked up by her ex or the guy she's with her 2 kids, asking Raina for help, and she wouldn't give her help. But the fact that she's out here coming to Gypsy's defense, I think says a lot about her. So when she says it's not about money every 5 minutes, it obviously is, because why do you care about Gypsy and Gypsy baby more than you care about your daughter and your other grandkids? Okay. No, I never I actually really didn't think that bad of Miss Raina until after the live that I did with her. And I know a lot of y'all on YouTube didn't see this live, but Starlight has it on her page. This live took place over the summertime, I want to say. It might have been like May, June. And you can look on Starlight's page because she plays the whole thing on her page. And what I think was weird about that whole live is she was trying to justify everything that happened with Gypsy. She was trying to say to give Gypsy grace, give her forgiveness. She's trying to learn. She's trying to be better. She's trying to, excuse me. She's trying to be a better person. But everything that she's displayed has been shown otherwise. Ken is clearly not a good guy. I think he is abusive, likely. The aggressive behavior that he shows on girl, I was about to get another one. You know me and these Alanis. Like, I have cases of them, okay? Cases. I just feel like she always says, oh, I'm a very laid back person and I just like let things go. I think that that's her way of saying that she just kind of lets him do him, and she's raised her son to be other people's problems, and she's admitting to that. I get these from Sam's Club. Oh no, Costco's. I also, GNC had a sale recently where it was buy 2 cases, get 1 free, and they have watermelon and Dream Float, which is like the orange creamsicle one. I bought those 2 cases, but most of the time I get them from Costco. Yes, Ken is very defensive and beyond aggressive. And that's why I'm saying that when everything hits the fan and hits the public, that it's been over, the story is going to be that he was abusive, and people are going to believe it because he's shown that type of behavior. Even though everybody knows Gypsy's a liar, it's very believable. The creamsicle is really good. Oh, Miss Raina's roommate. First, if y'all saw the video and saw what this man looked like while he was talking about me, I will say this. Okay, Cece. He's too easy of a target. So I don't even want to go there. Yes, and My mom doesn't either. Like, my mom kind of stays out of my adult life in terms of like who I'm seeing, and like she would never get on a live and do all that. She would never she would never do any of that. Like, my mom is not the person that would do any of that at all. My mother would just first of all, I would be embarrassed if my mom would get on the internet on somebody's live trying to defend me. Like, something's clearly going wrong if my mom has to do that. You know, like, first of all, and then did y'all see the way that Kim was blowing up her phone on that live? It almost made me think he was beating Miss Raina butt too. Girl, I'm trying to figure out how to filter it, and it's frustrating me that I can't. It just, I don't know. The way he was blowing up her phone, my mom would have never done that. Like, my mom would, it just, none of that would have ever happened. But I feel like it was just extra crazy. All you heard was ding, 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 ding. You would have thought it was a casino, and she won something. Like, the way that thing was going off, you would have thought she was in Vegas. Like, I mean, that thing was like ding, 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 ding. It wasn't like even the first ring went through good before it started ringing again. The way Morbid was calling her out on that live that night, calling him out about blowing up her phone like that and telling him to stop. Listen, you know, one thing I love about Morbid is, first, he's very funny to begin with, and I think he has such a dry sense of humor, which makes it extra funny. But the way he calls him out is funny because Morbid's so nice. So when he does call people out, people take it serious because he's not someone to just call you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not the person to just call you out. So when he does, you know it's for real. Oh yeah. Morbid knows exactly. Morbid's actually a lot smarter than people give him credit for. I actually think Morbid's like almost genius. Yes, Gigi. You know what? I thought about that the other night, but I did not say this, and I'm happy you brought this up. But he never gets angry with Morbid. It is only with women. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Yes, Melissa, you have to be intelligent to have his sense of humor, because, and also to understand his sense of humor, because Moritz is the type of person that will insult you to your face, and you could say thank you, not realizing that it was an insult. Not only was he submissive with Morbid, remember when Cowboy Bear was on that live and he said, uh, these trolls are wild. And he told him to shut up or be quiet. He's the submissive, and he got quiet. That's when I was like, oh, I'm going to tell you, if there was ever any confusion on whether or not him and Cowboy Bear had anything ever going on, That right there should have told you everything. That man's mouth was like, that told me everything I needed to know. I didn't need to know anything else. Kidding. I was so pissed that he was in there lying. And he kept saying, like, we're stalkers and we're crazy. I was like, okay, I'm about to go in on him. Steph, when I tell you the stuff we're going to hear when they disperse publicly, I am telling you, it's going to be some crazy stuff that we hear. Ken is very rude, but he also is very, he's rude, he's angry, I think he's actually very much a narcissist too, but I think he's a different type from Gypsy because well, no, they're both able to kind of try to make the public think they're nice people. But Ken has a harder time trying to show it. Like long term. Yes, Shell. I did see how excited he was when he saw his barber. And also, when I spoke to Ken back in April after they were in New Orleans together, the stuff that he said the first time on Morbid's Live was the exact same thing that he said to me. That's when I was like, this is a script. I mean, word for word. Friend, now you know, word for word, it was the same thing that he said on Morbid's Live. Like as if it's a script that he reads off of. If you say, ask one question, it was so exact that I knew that it's calculated. Look, I heard the baby does look like Ryan, but I just don't even know if a baby really exists, and you're gonna have to fight me on that. Okay? You're gonna have to fight me on that one. Because I'm not convinced. And I'm not going to let anyone gaslight me and tell me that I'm being dramatic or I'm being crazy or I'm making up a story. Was the baby born with glasses? For real, Melissa, though? Like, that's the real question. Was it born with glasses? But I feel like people are like, oh, y'all are, acting dramatic. Y'all are this, you're that. But at the end of the day, this is a woman that made believe she was handicapped for more than half of her life. So anyone that says that we're wrong for thinking this, they're gaslighting us. Not only that, the baby bump pictures were so inconsistent. And I'm sorry, from someone that has been pregnant, I have 2 kids. Once I had a stomach, it didn't go away. I'm just not convinced that there's a baby in the picture. I'm not even, I can't say that I think that there is. And there's no one that's going to be able to tell me that I'm wrong about that. That's interesting. I look pregnant now, but you can't see me. I think you meant to be on Bree's Live, not mine. But you're probably Bree. No, it's one thing if her bump was consistently small. How does it go from small to big, from small to big to small to big? That is not, that's not consistent. Your stomach gets bigger, not smaller. It's not like you see a picture, it gets big, and then tomorrow it's small, and then the next day it's big. No, the birth certificate uh, is not public in uh, Louisiana. You know what? I actually think she's doing Ozempic. Look, don't get the messenger. I'm just telling you what I think she's doing. I don't know this for sure. Finally, y'all, my laptop turned on. Advanced setting. Oh, feature, eligibility, standard features. Oh, let's see something. Okay, wait, where did someone say to go? Participant? Community moderation? No. Live room. Where do I see that? Like, what do I click on to see that? The sonogram too, like, I don't know, y'all. It's too many things that I just feel like does not add up. I tried to do the settings on this actual live, and it just did not let me do it. I just don't. Let's see. I don't want to be too distracted on here. Oh, okay. So it says I'm live here. Settings. Oh, it's gonna actually let me change the setting. Maybe. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. We might be actually able to kind of get this customization. Maybe that's it. No. Oh, thank you guys. Okay. Subscribers only. Okay. I think I got it. Let's see. Yes! Okay, so now I won't be distracted. Okay, I'm excited. Because that is so distracting. I think I'm going to start doing this on all my lives because it's so distracting. This makes it so much better. I can see everything. Hey, Amy. That is happening without being distracted by like all these like weird comments, because it's like you're trying to read everything because you want to respond, but it's hard when you're getting all these crazy. So I don't know if the baby's last name is Anderson. Well, I think within 300 and something days, but see, that's something we'll never know because of the fact that the birth certificate is not public. Now, I did hear, and this is if there's a baby, I did hear that Ken has a lawyer and Gypsy has a lawyer too. And if that is in fact the case, whatever court records on custody or however they work things out, that will be public, so we'll be able to see that. Are you sure it's orange? They're trying to change it, but Ryan is refusing to sign the paperwork. You know what, y'all? Let me show you guys something real quick that I think is really funny. So obviously I have a snark page on Reddit. You know that's when you know you've made it when you have a snark page. I want y'all to see this, and they say this was before I was infamous. I don't even know who this is. Like, who is this woman? We don't have the same eyes, the same nose, nothing. So y'all just put this lady picture up on Reddit and said, why are they doing it? All I could do is laugh. So you stole this lady pictures and says, infamous. It's giving all black people look the same. Because I just don't look like her. Like, we don't look alike at all. Like, the fact that they posted this, I feel like it's clear who it is. And like, Bree, let's spin the block on what you looked like on that book sighting. You look like the blueberry that blew up. And you really had the audacity to steal someone's random picture and then say it's me? Like, you got a lot of nerve. Like, anybody that sees this, that has eyes, could tell this is not me. Hold on, I'm trying to block the right person. No, literally, it threw her credibility totally up. First of all, we're not even the same complexion. Like, you could even see just by that, our facial structure. Like, look at my face shape. We have two totally different facial structures. My eyes are very different. Hers are longer. Mine are wider, like higher. Like, we look very, very different. Our noses are very different. Like, look at that. We look very different. We don't look the same at all. Thank you. Y'all, my daughter did a little photo shoot with her friend that day. I'm gonna show you guys this because it's so cute. Let me see if I can find it. Look, Nala. She did this with her friend. It's so cute.
I mean, what if I don't want to live the way you live?
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this.
I mean, what if I don't?
It's so cute. I was so happy to see those pictures with her and her friend. Thank you. No, that's the thing. I don't know if there's a baby or not, but I'm having a hard time believing that there's one. Does that make sense? I can't say that there is none, but I also can't say that there is one. Aw, thank you. Y'all, she would be so excited to hear that from you guys. Little man is at daycare, and y'all, let me tell you something about Gio. When I tell you he's been trolling. Last night he came downstairs like 4 or 5 times and was like, "Mommy, I think there's monsters." But he doesn't believe there's monsters. He's not scared of anything. He says that because he thinks I'm going to let him sleep with me. So he's been trolling me at night. I heard Ken has an attorney for baby custody. But I don't know, y'all. Listen, that's just what I heard. But I'm still not sold on the fact that there's a baby. Because also, thank you. What I think is really funny, nobody's seen any pictures. No nurse in the hospital snuck a picture. Nurses do that all the time. No, nobody's seen them come in and out the hospital. She said that the baby goes to the doctor's appointment once a week. Nobody saw them in the waiting room. No signs of a baby, but what people have said. And then Rogi said he saw the baby, right? I want y'all to follow me. Follow me with this, okay? Rogi said he saw the baby. But Rogi met Gypsy for the first time, allegedly at the book signing. So all of a sudden, he's seen the baby. And Bree has not physically seen the baby. So is this a reborn? Like what is going on? And not that I just don't think that I know that nobody really wants to, like, anyone that wants to see the baby, they just want to see it just to see. But it's not that anyone really wants to see the baby. Does that make sense? Y'all, oh, I need to post this video. I keep forgetting to do it. Okay, y'all remember Gypsy's attorney? So Gypsy's attorney was working with a company, and the company's trying to hide that they were working with Gypsy's attorney because of the way, she looks because she's worked with Gypsy. Somebody sent me screenshots and was like, yeah, they don't want anybody to know. Like, they don't want this to get in the hands of anyone like you. I keep forgetting to post about it. Yo, that's on my to-do list for today. Yes, y'all, I'm finna post it. I thought it was so funny because I was like, this is hilarious. And I keep meaning to put this in there. Hey, Kelly. Yes, I fixed the chat. I had to. I couldn't function like that. But I had to do it on my laptop. So I don't know if it's something I was missing in here. Thank you, Ari Cakes. And you know who Gypsy reminds me of? Carol Baskin, for real. Adorable. Listen, y'all are scam artists. The people that come in here that say this are scammers. When I think of Gypsy, I think of Carol Baskin. That's exactly what I think of is Carol Baskin. Like it gives Carol Baskin. But you know what? I do believe that if there is a kid, she's probably cute because two ugly people normally do make cute kids. You know what is also kind of funny? Gypsy's old best friend Rachel posted a pictures of Ken taking Rachel and her husband and her daughter out to dinner like a couple of years ago. When I tell you that what she said that was in 2019, we're in 2005. Ken has aged worse than dog years. Worse than dog years. Like, I have to find it. Let me see if I can find it to show y'all. I hope she didn't delete it. Okay. Let me screenshot this first. When I say this is worse than dog years, first of all, he currently looks like he's this guy's grandfather. This is 5 years ago. Are you aging in triple dog years? Ken is... I think Ken is like 32, 31, 32. Yeah, like he aged so much. Like, look at this. Thank you, Airy Cakes. Do y'all see this? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. That's not even dog years. What age is faster than dog years? I'm 38. And Ken look like he could be my granddaddy. Like how? Thank you, boss. But I'm just saying, like, oh, he ages in rat years. Okay, we're gonna just say rat years because it just don't. Roach years. Y'all be on this internet playing as much as I do. It's probably stress, but it's the stress of his own BS too. And I actually heard allegedly he was on drugs at some point. So that could be it too. Main chick said, hey, rats are smart and loyal. He's no rat. I actually don't. So Rachel said that when she was in prison with Gypsy, Gypsy never did drugs. So I don't know if it was just when she was out, she was taking her mom's stuff. I agree. It's his own, the stress that he's made. First of all, they said he's a bartender. Follow me. He's a bartender, but nobody's seen him. Who are you serving? You have a baby that's been to the doctor every week, but nobody's seen the baby. So y'all are now Caspers? But even if he was working at a gay bar, listen, gay men are just as messy as Wendy Williams' child. We would see it. Okay. They will tell you out of tea. It ain't adding up. 1 + 1 is 2, not 10. Not Parker had more hair. You play too much. But you could count the hairs on his head now. Yeah, if he was working, somebody would see him. How do you go to work and nobody sees you? Nobody sees you walking into work. Nobody sees you leaving work. Nobody? Like when you tell a story, the story has to make sense. The fact that the story doesn't make sense, to me, that should be an indication that something's wrong. Like nothing actually adds up. Again, that's kind of like when Christy was on the live that day, and Christy was like, "Oh, they didn't break up. They're still together." And she was like, "Well, we need to figure out who the rat is. There's a snake, and we need to figure out who the snake is." And she's like, "If there's a snake, if there's no snake, why would you have to look for it if it's a lie?" Like just really think about that. Like everything that they do doesn't add up. Like when you are trying to be a storyteller but you're not smart, the story isn't going to add up because you don't even have context. Like you don't have common sense to put the story together for it to make sense. You know what I'm saying? And like they all tell a different story. Like nobody. Not only that, Christy sounded kind of, I don't know if she was intoxicated or she was on drugs, but she sounded not all the way there. Oh no, Ken is definitely not ambitious. If Gypsy Rose Blanchard was who you thought of to be with after she got out of prison from unaliving her mom, hold on 1 second, y'all. Like, just think about that. Wait, who was buying pain pills from her cousin? Oh, Christy? Christy's cousin came out and said that? I didn't hear about this. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he was, you said, okay, I'm going to repeat this for the people to watch this back. Ken spent his adult life bouncing from state to state, avoiding his funds and likely mooching off of men or women who will let him. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think there was very many women around. In fact, I feel like Gypsy might have been the first woman that he really took serious or ever dated. Because, remember, they said that Gypsy sent, Conspiracy, his ex's contact information. I don't think there is an ex, which is why I don't think there's an ex. No ex has ever came out. Nobody's ever said anything. This was just something that Gypsy said. Again, that's another thing that just does not add up. Yeah, but who's the ex? The ex says all this, but nobody knows who she is. There is no ex. Ken was obviously with Steve Wood, which is why that man said he was holding his trinklets hostage. And remember, there was rumors back in 2019 in that Facebook group that Ken was with men. Make it make sense. I don't think that there was a girlfriend. I think the girlfriend is a guy. Honestly, anything that Ivory Rose Grows Wild says, don't repeat it in here because it doesn't matter. Nothing she's ever said has been proven to be true. So I just don't want more information that's not true being spread on here. Yes. I do think it's really odd how he came back in the picture and boldly too. Like he did too much. Oh, okay. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, for him, there's like something on my lip. For him to come in and do all of that and then come in like pretty much swinging, and it's alleged to say that she's upset that he doesn't defend her. She's embarrassed him all this time. Look how many times, you know what I'm saying? Like, just think about it. I'd be embarrassed if I dated him, but I would also be embarrassed if I ever like dated Gypsy. And the fact that Gypsy said that's a Chad, and she thought somebody would be jealous of Ken. Like, girl, come on. Come on. I thought that was like the biggest joke. It's like, what glasses were you looking out of? That whole, like that's crazy. Like that's crazy. Oh, can you send me a picture in it, Melissa? I put like two pictures together. I'm gonna add them to of it because those. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When I saw pictures of everyone wearing like my shirts or my sweaters, saying "Let's spin a block" or Panini Press, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, just a part of me was like, oh my gosh, I would have never thought if you would have asked me a year ago if I would have said something and it would be on a shirt and someone would want to have it. So that was something that was very heartwarming to me. So I appreciate you guys. Not you need the filter Gypsy has. Yo, I don't know what app she uses, but the way it kind of like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know, y'all. Yeah, I actually, and you know what's so funny? I ordered a couple of them. I'm waiting on them to get here. I just ordered it. I think it was like on Sunday. I think she was on Ozempic. Now, I'll say this. If she had a baby, if, I think that baby was born probably 2 to 3 months before. If. I don't think there's a baby. I'm more leaning towards there not being a baby in the picture, but if there is, that baby's a lot older. And another weight loss medication, maybe what is it? Phenamine? Is that what it is? It phenamine? Do I think Ken's family would go along with the story? I don't know. Maybe his mom? I don't know about his sisters. I don't know much about Wagovi. Wait, someone else had the baby? Wait, let me read that. A surrogate? Did you think, first of all, isn't there a clause to having a surrogate? And basically, they would kind of have to adopt the baby out. Could Gypsy adopt a baby? Well, I guess if it's her egg, maybe not. I don't see a surrogate. I don't see that. Oh no, if there's a baby, Ken definitely didn't want one. And you could tell because even in that clip that they had, he said, I definitely didn't want her to get pregnant right now, or there could have been better timing, or this was not the right time, or something to the effect that it was basically her fault that she got pregnant, and which is a lack of accountability on his end, but that indicates to you that was not what he was expecting. First of all, her nose actually looks bigger to me now, like wider than it did when she came out. Yes, I watch Case's videos all the time. I love Case's videos. That, you know what? I forgot about that. She did say she didn't, what did she say? She said, I don't have time to donate my time to a child right now. Yeah, it looked kind of, and I thought at first it was like maybe just me being critical, but then the more I was looking, I was like, nah, her nose does look kind of big. And maybe it was that she got pregnant because, you know, of course your nose does like widen. Well, they say it does, right? And so if it did widen, maybe because she had had surgery, it didn't reduce because it kind of like maybe stretched out her skin. I don't know. You know what? I have not really looked at Mia's nose job. Does it look like straighter though? Because I think that's what she was saying she wanted it to be. The baby is an accessory for her, which is another reason, if the baby is real, why she doesn't want anyone to see the baby, because she knows she would lose the attention. But I honestly don't know if there's a baby. See, Bobby, I do think that that was her main objective, to get out and have a baby, because the fact that, was it the first or second episode of her show, there was like baby clothes that her and Ryan purchased, or she purchased when she was out with Ryan. Like, I thought that that was kind of weird. That's not something you would do when you first get out of prison and you're trying to like establish yourself. I don't think those are real pictures, to be honest with you. Thank you, Rachel. If there is a baby, I definitely think it's Ryan's. I know they said they took a test, but of course, this is Lifetime, it's TV. I don't know if I would believe anything she says. She was definitely obsessed with the baby since Nick. And I think even prior to that, to be honest with you. First of all, the way she acts as if a baby will keep a man, you can't keep a man with a kid. That just brings more stress to a relationship that's already not solid. I don't know if I don't know if Mia's planning a wedding. I think she may want one. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. I see too many. I see his I see his family being a roadblock. I might be wrong. Just some chick that becomes very tricky because like when you I think that yes, but I feel like when you put like laws and stuff like that into place, then it is so blanket. Does that make sense? Mia's with that guy. What's his name? Andre. Is it Andre? Yeah, I don't know if I see that long term. I think she may, but I think there's too many um things with her family and her upbringing that will cause future issues. I didn't think about that, but maybe Mia will be that. I don't think she wants to do that without being married because I feel like she's the one that wants like titles and labels and like she wants to appear like she's doing the right thing. Does that make sense? Even if she's not, I think she would want to appear that way, and the competition would be that she did it with her husband. Does that make sense? I don't know if she has the deletion. I feel like she looks like she could, but Rod also looks like he could too. But because she's saying her dad tested negative, but there hasn't been any proof of that. But we know for sure her mom tested negative. Look, I do feel like Rod has it. I heard that they were seeing a specialist. Right. It says that her dad wasn't available for testing. I saw that in the medical records. Not it's a wreath. Now look, I heard and two, I don't I read that in Cajun culture, it's kind of one of those unspoken things to kind of keep it in the family, like literally like it to not water down like the family lineage, basically. I don't know if that's true or not. I think people think that maybe Mia doesn't have it because she's pretty, and they think that you have to not be pretty to have it, which isn't true. Like you could have it and be pretty. Um, and another thing, and this might be very critical of me, that makes me think that she may have it. Yes, the royals. That's what I was meaning. Yeah. The other reason why I think so is, remember, there was a test that she took and she said like she had to take it, she took it like several times and finally passed it or something. Like something that it like indicated to me that she struggled through school, but she pushed through. So I feel like she had stuff going on. Well, she would, beauty standards wise, people would say she's pretty. Oh my goodness, do you take before and after pictures, because I know your skin is like gonna totally morph. Yes, my voice, life views. That was, I read about this like, I want to say over the summertime when I was kind of like looking into it, because someone had messaged me and said that like Rod's grandmother or great grandmother was with her grandma, or like another grandma or someone, like they kept it in the family. And I was just like, wait. And I looked up and I did see about the realty in Cajun culture. And I was like, oh, that's something I didn't know. Oh, yeah, Gypsy couldn't pass her G. Now we knew that. That's why when she acts like she knows so much, I'm like, girl, if it takes you 5 years to get a GED, something ain't right. 5 years in prison, which means you've been sitting around not doing nothing while you in prison, and it's taking you 5 years. I could see if you had 5 years and you got 5 kids and a job. You know, like you literally had nothing to do but sit in that prison. Hey, Pink Cloud. Aw, I'm just happy that you will love the way your skin looks. No, literally nothing to do in prison. Why would it take you 5 years to get a GD? Like that kind of, it doesn't make sense. She is convincing and she is a good planner, because she's devious, right? Which is why, like, when you see her like on social media on these lives, if you don't really know what she did behind the scenes, you will think she's a decent person, even though you know she unalived her mom, because she goes in with a very high pitched voice. She tries to act like she's very sweet, but she's not. But did you guys notice on her live when she did this? Did y'all notice that? When I say the level that she tries to emulate me is so insane. Y'all, it's too much. Yes, it was weird. When she went like this, she was like, I was like, girl, first of all, her putting on that wig and that pink robe is what did it for me. That robe and that wig, I was like, this is out of control. Not you trying to cosplay me for your maternity pictures. That is just weird. Yeah. Okay, let me find it for you. Oh, I deleted. Uh, Let me see if it's on my phone. Not on my phone, on my thing. Oh, I think I'll be able to see it right here. Show more. Let's see. It might be in my pictures. If I could get, are any of my mods in here? Oh, I was gonna have someone message it to me, but I forgot my iPad still. Oh well, I have my charger. Let me just plug it in. Hold on. Can you send me the picture of? I think I sent you both pictures, the one of me and the one of her with the same robe on. Can you send it to my iPad? Thank you. Okay, my iPad's turning on. I forgot I had my charger right here. Let me turn this laptop off since it's barely charged. No, it's the exact same road. I think it's in our text messages. Let me... Hold on. If you could send me just a picture of her, I know I could find the one that was on my other page. So I could show y'all. It's real funny. Like, it's funny. It's funny, but it's weird. It's creepy. Hold on, I'm trying to find the page, the picture. Okay. Clear display. Oh, I thought I had just the regular picture, but I have this picture. Okay, look at this. Okay, you see that? Hold on, I actually think I might have a bunch of the pictures with me in the robe in here. Let me look. Maybe not. I might actually need the picture. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay. Yeah, I did a video on it, but I can't remember where the video is because I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of where I put the video. I think it, but I don't know if it's on my main page or my backup page and which video it would be. Like because I know it was a couple of weeks ago. I'm trying to see. I think. I think I might be able to find it. I'm trying to. Okay. Tag uh my main page. Okay, someone sent it to me. Okay. Okay. Oh wait. That's just weird. That's just weird. I don't have mine on this iPad because I don't use my iPad well. I'm sure. Look, let me just go back to my page. I know I have videos of me with that. Let's just scroll. I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. I said the fact that she put on the color, like that. That's the most bizarre thing I have ever seen, ever. I never in a million years would have been. I never would have thought. That is not something I would have ever thought that someone would do. Like that just, it's like, girl, what are you doing exactly? What are you doing? Like what is happening? Like what are we doing? Like that's doing too much. Anytime you are trying to emulate somebody, but her and Bree swear up and down, they hate me. I'm like, girl, like how could you keep saying that and you're out here literally trying to duplicate me? Okay. And I have more. Just wait. Because I wear, so I have that robe in like 2 or 3 different shades of pink that I always wear. And that's what made it so funny is because it was very obvious because I always wear that robe. Like I have it in different shades and everything. And that's what made it so okay. It was so bizarre. Probably one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. Wait, where was not I was outside with a robe on. Where was I going? See, like that's like a signature look of mine, that robe, my robes. And it just was so funny of all things for you to literally come in with a robe, looking like me, or trying to, not looking, trying. Let's just say trying. That was just so funny to me. It just didn't make any sense. If she did really, I don't know. I'm not convinced about the baby. I'm just not. And there's not really anything that anyone's going to be able to do to convince me that. I thought I knew for sure, yes, she was, but then, mm-mm. But then I was like, I don't know. Because I just feel like there's too many things that are too questionable about the whole situation. Okay, here's another one. It's it's um it's crazy. Like, do you guys remember when she did that? This is over the summertime. I want to say this was around July, where she did a video on like skincare, and she brought out like some Lancome, and oh, she did skincare and her makeup, and she was basically trying to, I don't know, influence, teach people what to use. That was, you know, what was funny about that is that I don't think she had a PR company at that time, but the video wasn't influential. Like it's not like you'd see the video and be like, oh, you know, I need to go get that, because she was like only talking about what she loves. And when you're talking to an audience, they need to understand why they would want that. Because yeah, because it worked for you, that's cool. But how would that work for me? Her prison content. You know what? Her prison content could have actually made her viral, like all the time. When she did like that prison drink, yeah, I didn't taste it, but everyone said it tasted disgusting. But like if she would have kept up with that, I think she would have because I feel like, okay, what's made you famous or infamous was the fact that you went to prison, right? I think she should have just stayed on that. Like just rode that out. Like, yeah, ramen recipes, like crazy prison stories. Like people would have watched just for that, because they'd have been like, oh, Gypsy said this happened in prison. Like it wouldn't have, I think she was too much trying to do like the soft girl life, or like, and it just didn't mesh with who she is as a person, because it's not genuine. So it's like you can't like fake a life that you don't really live. Does that make sense? Like trying to show up on the camera and saying, oh, like this is what I do, when you only do your skincare just because you're on camera. It's not realistic, and it doesn't resonate to the audience, because they can tell that that's not real. So see, if I was her when she came out of prison, what I would have done is I would have done like a mental health journey. So like I would have gotten into therapy, and I would have been like working out and stuff like that. And so I would have taken you guys on the journey with me to better myself as a person, mentally and physically. And it would have been like a day in a life with me type of thing, right? Where like, okay, it's a day in a life with me. You know, I'm working on myself today. And that would have been, because she could have been authentically her. She wouldn't have had to try to emulate anybody else or try to be anything else. I think her trying to be someone else, you could never be a content creator and be someone else. It's never going to work. You know, like you, because your audience can see when you're not authentic. It's too easy for it to translate to the screen. Like people can read body language. People can read if your heart is not in it, if you like what your intent is. Like it's, and I don't think she realized that. Yeah, no, there's no coming back on that for her. I'm gonna be honest with you. She's too. Here's the thing. I'm saying if I was her, that's what I would do. But the person that she is, she's not capable of that now. And in fact, I actually think she wasn't as bad when she got out of prison. I think now she's too she's went on this road so long since she's been out that I don't even think she's capable of it. Exactly, first impressions. And even if it wasn't like necessarily like her first impression, she kind of messed up. I think she could have been she could have redeemed herself like early on. Now I think it's way too far gone. She's hasn't shown like any accountability. Her show, Bree. In fact, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Bree was her biggest demise this last year. I don't think it was really just her. I think if Bree was never in the picture, she would have never exposed herself as fast. Bree was her biggest demise. Because until Bree came in the picture, I actually didn't realize how bad she was. It was Gypsy messaging me herself, and then it was Bree coming into the picture. Those two things was, I think, what the nail in the coffin was, to be honest with you. And they blame me. That's the funny part. It literally was Bree and Gypsy, and mainly Bree. Because to have Bree be your spokesperson, as unhinged and as crazy as she is, was her demise. That was her demise. If Bree was never in the picture, the public would have seen eventually that she wasn't that great, but I don't think it would have been exposed this fast. Bree just showed the things that Gypsy really wanted to do. And she was using Bree as a pawn. Like, Bree was such a bad idea for her. Hey, Sophia. Bree is using Gypsy, but the gag is Gypsy's using her too. I actually think Bree has a girl crush. Because that's not normal. No, I don't think there's any redeeming Gypsy for anyone at this point, redeeming herself. And in fact, I think it's even worse the way things have played out. And I'm telling you, once she comes off parole, it's going to be a whole nother scandal. You know what, Popcorn, everybody says that. And you're right. Listen, Jamie, she can't come crying to me. Listen, when I don't like you as a person, you could be on fire and I will walk past you. I don't know you. I don't see it. I'm minding my business. Like, I want nothing to do. Nothing Bree ever does will ever get me to speak to her. Nothing. She could be at my door and I will call the police. I don't care. Like, I don't care. I'm never, ever. I will eat shards of glass before I ever talk to Bree. I would never stoop that low to ever deal with someone like that. I just don't. Shorty, when I'm done with something or a situation or a person, it doesn't matter what you say, I'm not doing it. Like, I am very much that person. Like, when I'm done, because for me to come to that point, you have done, you went above and beyond. And for me, Bree has went, you know what? This is the main reason. The fact that Bree started with me for months and I left her alone. And multiple mods of mine were like, are you ever going to address this girl? Are you going to say anything? And I left it alone, left it alone, left it alone. The first time I ever said something about her, she said I bullied her for months. The level of gaslighting and manipulation, she is trash as a person. Trash. Absolute trash. She will never hear from me. I don't care what she says. I don't, the way I've seen her gaslight, I will never respect that as, like that, I can't respect. Because I feel like if you're going to say anything, just be honest. All you got to do is be honest. Purple duck. I don't respect people that intentionally go out and lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like your word is your bond, and whatever you put out here, it says a lot about who you are as a person. And the fact that she will lie and lie and lie. Aqua used to message me and say, like, this girl, have you seen these videos this girl has done of you? Like, are you going to say anything? Are you going to do anything? And I was just leaving it alone. Just because I was like, oh, I'm not going to address it. It's fine. Just let her do her thing. And the fact that she kept going, kept going, kept going, kept going, kept going. And when I say one thing, she lies and says I doxed her. She lies and said I did this, that I gave her mom's address out. I would love for her to show the clip of me doing that. Like anything that she says I've done, she's never had receipts. So the people that believe her are mentally disturbed. And I did think that at one point too. No, it's like the level of the manipulation, the lies. If someone asks her to show receipts, she can't. The difference with me is she's done things, but I've filed police reports. That's why when she tries me, I already have it documented. That's why I keep telling that girl, don't play with me. Because I document things just so that when you do it, I'm clocking your T all the way. When she said someone doxed her mom, she gave out my mom's full name on the internet and everything. I never gave out her mom's name. She thinks I'm a dummy. She don't know who she's dealing with. Like she don't know who she's dealing with. Like you don't ever have to get ready if you stay ready. And I just don't respect the lies. Like whatever you're going to do, just be honest about it. If you're going to do it, do it. Like, but don't lie about that's my issue, is being a liar. And then you project that I'm the liar. Like, I don't care if she says that I'm a liar. It's whatever, that's her, like what she says. But the thing is for her to say that knowing that she's lied about everything on me. Yes, she gave out I have a whole video. I had to submit it in the link. Okay, so I went and filed a police report and they text you a link and you have to submit all the proof. right? So I submitted all that proof. And the purpose of me doing that, the officer was like, any day she shows your house, she shows your address, anything online, you already had documentation that she was already trying you. That was my whole purpose of doing it, just to document it. So she did it to my mom. It had to be around October. It had to be mid-October, like around the 15th or 16th on a live. But it was, and here's the thing, you could have like doxed anything else, you could have said anything else, but when you start messing with my mama, girl, you playing a game that you not gonna win. Cause I don't play about my mama. I know Gypsy will unalive her mama, but I will unalive for my mama. So don't ever try my mom. Okay? Don't try my mom. Like you could try whatever you want, but one thing you're not gonna play with is my mom or my kids. Them right there, you could play all day, but I'm not playing about them. You could talk about whoever you want to, but I don't play about them. And when you do that, just know you're going to play yourself. Because I'll key, laugh it up. I'll clock your tea. I'll talk smack about you too. I'm fine with that. But when you start trying my mom, you writing a check that you really can't cash. Oh yeah, she's talked about my kids too, but I really don't care. Like, because at the end of the day, like she's just displaying who she is. My kids be minding their business. They have manners. Their mom's alive. That should be enough. Like, that's crazy that I'll let them get away with a lot. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that she tries to portray that it's me is the sick part. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, Bree needs to be in a straitjacket in somebody's mental institution, and I mean that. Like, that is not normal to be like that. Back at you, Diet Pepsi. Like, I let a lot of stuff go just because not everything's worth addressing. But she just doesn't know. Stop playing with me. No, like, I don't know if I told y'all this. This not at my son's current daycare. I switched my son's daycare back in August, okay? And so my son was away for the month of June with his aunt. July. I switched my son's daycare in July. And earlier on in the year, why was his daycare teacher saying she was scrolling through TikTok one day and she was scrolling on a live and saw my picture in the background with a little dunce cap on, and the girl was talking about me, talking about I do rugs. And she said, I had to look and I was like, Gio's mom doesn't do rugs. The fact that she was on live and my son's daycare teacher saw it. Yep. Think about how crazy that is. But the people that know me. Like my kids' teachers know how I am about my kids. Like, so people could say whatever, but they know. You know what I'm saying? Like my daughter is student of the month. She does chair. She does hip hop, ballet, tumble, and has She's a A student. My son does soccer and he's in daycare, and he is like the kid that never gets a bad report. Like, they know how I am about my kids. Like, they know that I'm not, like, I don't play. So you could say, like, someone could see it, but people that have seen me with my kids know how I am. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why when they say that I'm sitting on, like, I sit on the internet and talk about her all day, that doesn't even make sense because I'm not live that often just because I have a lot of, my kids are in sports, like I have to drive them everywhere, take them everywhere, do everything. Like I always have like a lot going on. So it's like I only have time when they're in school. So for them to say that is just, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You know what's, I think, Manda, the thing about that is Gypsy is looked at as a celebrity kind of in the prison system. And I feel like they don't want her to be back in the prison because A, they have to keep her safe, which is, and they don't want to deal with her. They don't want to deal with her. And that's why they're letting her get away with what she's getting away with, which I think to be honest with you, in the long run, it's gonna hurt Gypsy more than it helped her. Like people think Gypsy got away with everything, but when she gets off parole, she's gonna be so unhinged because there was never like guidelines that she had to follow. She never had to like really be careful. So you're gonna see she's gonna get herself in trouble very fast. Hey, Teresa. Yeah, but Missouri specifically does not want to deal with her. You have to think this is a high profile case where she lied. This is not a high profile case where she was being honest. Everybody knows her story's a lie. If she goes back to that jail, it's going to open up a can of worms that they don't want to deal with. Not the directions of her pupils. The public does not want to deal with her. And I think Lifetime is kind of at that point too, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be interesting to see with these next 6 months what happens. No, they can't extend her parole. And I honestly think it's better for her not to be on parole because anything she does, someone could file a police report and get her locked up. Not only that, she already has a record of murder. Yeah. So the fact that she made threats and they're like literally on camera, her being off parole is it's it's really a recipe for disaster. Thank you for joining, Charity. No, she can't. She couldn't survive on her own. Like she has to live with someone. And you heard Chrissy said the night that she gets off parole, they're moving her out. Can you imagine what that's gonna look like? That too, a lot of inmates, and I know that for a fact because I've heard from some of them where they've said things like she said she was gonna come out and fight for prison reform and stuff. She's done none of that. So there's a lot of prisoners that are really upset. So she lied about prison reform to some of the prisoners. She said that and also her friend, well, they're not currently friends, but you know who I'm talking about, the girl that her boyfriend pew-pewed her parents, and I think her mom passed. Amelia. She made promises to her that she didn't keep. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot going on. Right. You would have thought that would have been, I'm going to be honest with you, if she would have fought for prison reform and like did like prison stories. Like, do you guys know that girl on TikTok? Y'all might not remember that. Some of y'all might not know because not all of y'all are on TikTok. But there is a girl on TikTok that I want to say she did like 10 years for like robbing somebody for drugs or something like that. And she now does like, I think it's Jessica Kent. I'm pretty sure that's her name. And now she does stories about her being in prison and like things that happened in prison and prison reform videos and changing your life and like stuff like that. She does really well. I don't think she's a fraud. I don't know. Look, I don't follow her that much, but I have seen her content. Let me look if that's her. What's that girl that was stealing out of Target? Do y'all know who I'm talking about? No, this is not her. Um, let me see. So I'm gonna look up. Oh, her name is Amanda. This is her. This would have been like, it would have been, for her to do something like that would have been good. Like she works, she, I think she goes to church now. Um, she's married. She ended up getting married. Um, like I sometimes she shows up on my FYP, but when she does show up on my FYP, I do watch her content. Um, because she's just a like that's a redemption story. She's a true redemption story. Where she's very transparent about what she's done. She's transparent about, where she's made her mistakes. Um, and like things that she should do better. Thank you, Melissa. Steals on wheels. And it's so funny because it came off the top of my head, but I think it's funny when you think about it because just when you think about the fact that she was stealing in that wheelchair and she comes out and she blames her mom for everything. Because I feel like when you think about it, that her and her mom were both in the cons together. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for her to say that it was all her mom, like, girl, you were conning people too. I don't know about that. I have heard mixed things from neighbors. I don't know. I don't know. I wish Hobby Lobby would have filed a police report after she was in there, being that she is banned from going into Hobby Lobby. I actually think, hey Belinda, I actually think Dee Dee knew that Gypsy was dangerous, which is why she homeschooled her. To be honest with you, I believe that. I don't think she was trying to seclude her from other, like originally trying to like seclude her because she didn't want her to be able to tell anyone the truth. I really think she knew that Gypsy was devious and she knew that she was dangerous. She's not allowed into Hobby Lobby because her and her mom were caught stealing in Hobby Lobby. And there's actually like police reports. There's like a police report and everything about it. But I do think Dee Dee knew she was dangerous. And I also think that she was probably very verbally abusive towards her mom in her younger years. But I also think she started beating and hitting on her mom after that. I think there's more to the story that we don't really know. But even just the fact that she said, Gypsy, don't hurt me. My mom would never say that to me. Why would you say that's like your kid saying, don't hurt me? That means you've hurt them before, right? Like, so when you think about it, there had to be stuff that happened. Not only that, for her to have the shed in the back with that, yes, the BB gun, yes, and that shed in the back, I think she was selling her booty out of that back, out of that shed. Because why was there a toddler bed? Why was there diapers? I think she was doing like role play type of stuff, to be honest. No, she didn't deserve, Dee Dee didn't deserve that at all. Like there's no way you could justify taking your mom's life. Like there's nothing that, unless you were in imminent danger, and she wasn't. Not only that, for Dee Dee to have a lock on the medicine cabinet when you're in the house with her, why would you have a lock on the medicine cabinet unless she was stealing your meds? Gypsy's actually a whole lot worse than I think people even realize. And that's the reality. Yeah, I do think Dee Dee was the one in danger the whole time. Um, I will say, at the end of the day, Dee Dee was like scamming Make-A-Wish and she was doing stuff like that. So I'm not saying she's an angel, but I'm saying she didn't deserve to die. She didn't deserve anything like that. And I think that she loved Gypsy and Gypsy only thought about herself. And I think Gypsy's way more dangerous than people realize. And to have, if she has a kid in her custody, I think that just shows how broken the system is. We already know the system's broken, right? But I think on a grander scale, it's even more broken for her to even have a child in her custody, because that's sick. If you could do that to your mother, your kid is no kin to, like, is nothing to you. If you could do that to the woman that birthed you, the reason why you're here, if you could do that to her, you can do it to anybody else. Which is the part that I think is crazy when it comes to Ken and Raina defending her. Because it's like, this girl unalived her mom. It's not like she went outside and somebody was like standing on her grass trying to attack her and she unalived them. No, this girl unalived the woman that took care of her whole life. Like, how could anyone try to say that that is okay or that is normal or she did what she had to do? Like, how could anyone say that? Not only that, she talks about how she couldn't get away from her mom. She tried to run away, this, that, and the third. There was no proof of that. But also, how did she mail Nicholas Godejohn money more than one time to get to her? but she couldn't run away because she mailed the money. She didn't Western Union the money. She didn't, even that, she would still have to get to Western Union. She would still have to send it, right? But you couldn't run away? That doesn't make sense. Like, she says she's been to multiple doctor's appointments, right? If your mom is saying you can't walk and you want to get out of the situation, wouldn't you just stand up and start walking and being like, this lady's a liar, she's been abusing me? Like, simple. Simple. That would prove that she was a liar right there, right? If that's what she was making you do. And I also think one of the biggest misconceptions for the public that the public doesn't know is they don't know that Gypsy was 23 at the time. A lot of people think she was like 15 or 16 because I was speaking to a friend of mine and she was asking about it. And when I told her, she was like, wait, she was an adult? I was like, yeah. She was like, what? A lot of people do not know to this day that Gypsy Rose was an adult. She said herself that Nick begged her to run away. He said it. Like, that's the other part. That's where I say the justice system really went wrong. And even when she was in that interrogation, remember when they were asking her her age and she was telling them her real age and also the age that was on, like, that she said she was? If you didn't know your age, or if you thought you were this age, you wouldn't know about it being something else. You know what? I do think she was interrogated in a child's room. Yeah, and probably to, like, mentally make her think she was safe. Yes. The fact that the plea deal was struck before the investigation was complete, that kind of tells you already that they really never wanted to actually charge her. Oh, so Gypsy had turned the thermostat down to keep the body cold from decomposing. Like, for her to be that calculated, think about it this way. You unalive somebody. Wouldn't you just be trying to get out of where you are? But the fact that you calculated it so much that you knew what to turn the thermostat to make sure the body didn't decompose, that is calculated. That is very calculated. Definitely for sausage. She did it for the sausage. Like, I would never Google how to keep a body preserved. Like, I wouldn't unalive anyone either, but I also would never, that wouldn't be a thought in my mind. Like, that's not, I don't, that is calculated. That is someone that thought this out, thought about how they were going to get away with it, thought about, like, even cleaning it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even thinking about how she cleaned it. First of all, I also don't think, you know what? It's not even that I don't think, I don't know what actually happened between the door and the room. Because the fact that the woman that interrogated Nick asked multiple times to him about why was there blood in the hallway? Why was there blood in the hallway on the wall? Why? Alexandria, that's another question too. That blood in the hallway has always made me wonder. I've never known exactly what, and it didn't really make me really think that deep into it until that day that Gypsy was live and someone asked her about what did David Blanchard do with the body, or like something that they asked about David Blanchard, and she looked like a deer caught in headlights. And that's when I was like, wait, is there somebody else involved? Because why did she look so nervous and taken back, but she was trying to gather herself at the same time? For her to look that nervous and uneasy and taken back, there was something about that she saw that someone knew that she did not think anyone knew. And I don't know what it is exactly, but she was freaked out for something. So that indicates to me there was something else going on. And the reality is, I know Nick says that that wasn't what happened, but I do think he was manipulated and tricked into thinking that he was the only one. I don't think he even truly knows exactly what happened, because whatever happened would have happened before he got there. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that there's things that he's not privy to because he was like manipulated into thinking it was just him. So I don't even think that he's intentionally not being honest. I don't, because I feel like Nick has been very honest. Even the way he was speaking, um, I just don't feel like he was being dishonest. Does that make sense? Like I don't get that feeling. Yes, Dan was there before Nick arrived, but then also the David Blanchard thing really did make me wonder. Something. Yes, Nick did seem unable to lie. He just didn't seem like he always came across very honest, because there's too many things that he said that was very raw, that if you were a liar, you wouldn't have said. Does that make sense? David Blanchard was her neighbor. Now, they say he's of no relation. He is the neighbor, but I also feel like she was low key sleeping with him too. Am I the only one that thinks that? I think that I think there's a story behind that too that we're not privy to. And also, why does Christy keep in contact with him? There has to be a reason why Christy keeps tabs of him. Because Christy only keeps tabs on people that she feels like could unravel the story. Mighty Mulatto, I didn't think of that, but that makes sense. Remember, Gypsy sent nude pictures to her dad. That could have been the wrong Blanchard for sure. That is not something I would have thought of. Oh, that's crazy. That would make sense. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yes. Yes. Dang, that's not something I thought of. That's wild. That's wild. That really is wild when you think about it. Mm. Because there's definitely something with David Blanchard. Because he also went and visited her in jail and in the prison. Why? And asked her, why did she do this? Like, there was too many things that if he had no, like, if one of my neighbors right now was arrested for killing someone in their house, I'm not going to go visit them. There has to be some sort of, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So yes, who mails a knife? But the thing about her mailing the knife, I think, to really be honest with you, um, it was solely just a frame, Nick. Solely. Now, I did think that was crazy, Bean. When I saw how big David Blanchard was, I was like, how would he fit through the window? First of all, how would he get his leg into the window? Like, it doesn't make sense. Nah, you're right. It doesn't make sense. How did he get into the window? None of it makes sense. That's another thing is the whole thing just doesn't make sense. And again, they didn't complete the investigation. So it's one of those things where I feel like no one will ever know because they did not complete it. I also think the autopsy report is not 100% accurate. I think they dropped the ball on that autopsy report. I do think they dropped the ball on that autopsy report and the crime scene. Because you have to think, when they first discovered the scene, they thought it was a kidnapping. So I think they may have touched things, moved things, shift things, and not realized at that time they were looking at a homicide. And I think that's why the autopsy report would be off, because they didn't know what they were looking at first. And remember, it took them some time to find her. They literally thought it was a kidnapping. So let that sink in with the way they would have handled the crime scene. It would have been handled very different from the way they would have handled a homicide if they didn't know they were looking at a homicide. And I think that's why that autopsy report came out like that, because they didn't know what they were looking at first. So there's things that could have been altered and changed and moved, and they don't know, because, they're going to look for like evidence on Dee Dee, or evidence around the room, or evidence around the place, to try to figure out who would have took Gypsy, because they thought she was kidnapped. So that crime scene was one that was not the original crime scene when you talk about the actual crime that took place, because they didn't know it was that. That brownie video was after she unalived her mom. Exactly, Teresa. They did not think Gypsy was involved. So that whole situation was at the scene of the crime, the crime of the scene wasn't handled the way, if they would have went in and thought it was a crime scene initially, it wasn't handled that way. So nobody, it was basically, when you think about it, the the crime scene was kind of tarnished already. But look how many days that was sitting there. Nobody knows who was there, who was playing with what. That crime scene was not the actual crime scene at the scene of the crime, at the time of the crime. You see what I'm saying? Like, things were changed. That's another thing. Like, she shaved, she did all the. That's why the pictures of her knuckles and stuff like that, they didn't even take that into account when you really think about that. Vera, that was something I thought about, but the only thing with stuff like that is that's something that is going to be very hard to prove. And I think that's why that's something that hasn't been brought into court, because that is something that's very hard to prove. I don't think she was actually completely gone before Nick got there. I do think she was on her last leg. You know what, Mighty Mulatto? I am kind of surprised she didn't take her car, but I think the only reason why she didn't take her car is because that would have been an easier way to find her with that license plate. Like, if everybody was looking out for that license plate, she couldn't be so incognito. Does that make sense? When she was on foot and taking a bus, like, you could kind of like disguise yourself a little bit, but I don't think she would be able to do anything about it. That is a good question, Lavonda, is the fact that she did keep asking if he did it or not. That's why I said I don't think he really knew what, because you have to think Gypsy is a very good manipulator. So it wouldn't be hard for her to manipulate Nick into thinking something was the way. Does that make sense? Like, did something ever happen and you were kind of like shocked that it happened? And you're like, no, that couldn't have been what happened. And then you start questioning yourself and you're like, maybe that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't, I think it's very hard to know what's what. And I don't think they looked at the scene the way they should have initially. And I just think that there's so many things that were missed, especially because they didn't complete the investigation. So did they get fingerprints? Did they fingerprint everything? No, because they thought they had the two people. They didn't complete the investigation. So because they knew what Gypsy was doing. If they had those Facebook messages, they knew. Okay. But okay, y'all, I'm going to get off of here. I will try to come back on here tomorrow evening, or if not tomorrow. What is today? Tuesday? Okay, if not tomorrow, Thursday. Yeah, probably Thursday, because my daughter doesn't have school on Monday or Friday, so I don't have to wake up early. Yes, there's definitely corruption. Thanks, Melissa. Thanks, Alf. Thanks, Kathy. And I'll see you guys later. 50 Shades. And now I wouldn't be surprised about that. But I'll see you guys later. Bye, y'all.